Hey, what's up, coaches? Coach Eric here and Coach Mark from coachestrainingroom.com. We're here live. It is 5:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. We are in some crazy times right now, so anybody that joins us live, we really, really appreciate it. We know that there's a ton going on and in the world, and we know that this is unprecedented times. How many times have we heard that word, unprecedented? I mean, this is crazy times we got going on, but we'll get through this just like everything else. We'll pull through, and as long as we all come together and encourage each other and work together. So I truly believe that. And we're happy to have you here. Let's make sure that we're on live. Let me just check that real quick. Just to double check, I believe we're all set and good to go, but I always like to double check this just to confirm. Okay, perfect. All right, coaches. So I hope you're doing well. I hope your family's good during these crazy times with this virus. And we're not here to talk about the virus, but we also understand that a lot of people are affected by this around the world. We know that a lot of our community is all over the globe. And Coach Mark, well, first myself, I guess I'm in the US and Coach Mark is in the UK, in England. And here in the US, I'm in Michigan specifically, but we are under lockdown here, and only essential travel, only essentials to go to either the hospital or for food. So that's where we're at right now. And I know Coach Mark just got word this morning as well in your country. So, but again, so that's where we're at in the world, crazy times. But we're here to do a quick session today and do some training because we have to keep our skills fine-tuned, have some encouragement, know that we're going to pull through all this and be back out on that soccer field, teaching kids and doing what we love. And so we're here today to specifically talk on the topic of things that you can do now to keep your coaching skills sharp during this time. So there's a lot that you can do now to build your skills, your knowledge as a coach. So Coach Mark, how are you doing today? What's going on there in England?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Firstly, hi everyone, and thanks if you're joining us live. Again, as Eric's touched on there, crazy times. It's the same situation in England now. We are officially on a bit of a lockdown, so we're going to find ourselves quite a lot of time to ourselves here, and of course, we're all about coaching education. Eric and I are going crazy at the minute with, and I'm sure a lot of you are, with no soccer, no sports to watch on the TV. It's kind of is tricky times, especially missing out on the things that we love. So today I wanted to really focus on things that we can do, perhaps just to keep our skills sharp.
Excellent. All right, Mark, real quick, let's just go through a little bit of, I forgot to just touch on those coaches that don't know Coaches Training Room, just real quick of what we do and who we are. So Coaches Training Room, we do done-for-you soccer sessions that can be adapted to fit your specific coaching style. So those range from passing, attacking, dribbling, possession, 1v1, small-sided games, even into individual skill sessions as well, skill training videos as well. So we have those in video format, downloadable PDF, step-by-step text instructions. We try to make it as simple as possible for all coaches of all levels, beginner all the way to advanced. And we do that in the format of online training through video and also webinar training videos, downloadable PDFs with text and step-by-step text instructions. And yeah, so we love it. And those of you that are following us, thank you so much. My name's Coach Eric, and I've been training and coaching for over 12 years now. Love it, and have been doing a lot of one-on-one training, small group trainings, played at Michigan State University, played travel growing up, love it, and just I'm glad to be here. And Coach Mark and myself partnered up about almost 8 years ago on Coaches Training Room, and have been building it and loving it ever since to help other coaches make their their lives easier as a coach, give them sessions and knowledge and education to improve your overall skills as a coach, help your teams and players get to that next level fast.
And I'm Coach Mark, and as Eric's mentioned there, we've been working together for a number of years now. The time has really flown by. My coaching journey took me across to the States a good few years back, coaching back here in the UK as well. And I was fortunate enough to be exposed to a number of coaches from across the globe, and because of that and my want to absorb information, I found that there are hundreds of ways of doing potentially a similar sort of thing. So, I can credit my own coaching background and style to taking things from a number of places and applying it to something that is authentic to myself. And what Eric and I do is try to create sessions that are adaptable, changeable, and specific, so that you can make it work for your own coaching style and something that is authentic to you. Because as we know as coaches, there can be nothing more intimidating sometimes than taking a brand new session to a field without any real idea as how it's going to go. So we try and make it as easily digestible as possible, and again, adaptable to fit the need of yourself and the need of your players. So again, as Eric's touched on, it's session plans, it is grouped session ideas, walkthroughs week by week of a particular topic. We also have monthly subscription-based stuff where we get a little bit more in depth with the training. There's a little bit more ongoing support there from ourselves as well. So yeah, we love what we do, and there's plenty of scope. And again, this is just a little bit of a time for ourselves to readdress, refocus, and make sure that everybody, ourselves included, comes back stronger when everything continues.
Excellent.
You want me to dive right in, Eric?
All right, let's go into it. Again, yep, the topic for today is things you can do now to keep your coaching skills sharp. So what better time than now to build our knowledge while we're at home, we can study, and how do we go about doing that? So let's kick it off, Coach Mark. I'm excited.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose the first bit we'll start with, and it's probably my favorite part here, to just to readdress and keep our skills sharp. Again, there's not a lot of live sports right now. In fact, this is pretty much non-existent. So what I would suggest doing is taking some time out, and there will be some time out, to watch some of the reruns of soccer matches from around the world, because ultimately you can watch it as you might already know the result of the game, but to watch it back again, but what we'll talk about is trying to watch the game in a different way. So we're going to try and watch it as an analyst and not necessarily a fan. We're all fans of soccer. If you follow a particular team, I follow Manchester City for my troubles. To watch as a fan, you might focus that and generally on TV, the camera will move in a certain way that makes you focus on the ball. When I watch as a fan, I also watch the ball. Now, if I could ask you just to change your mentality slightly when you're watching games back and try and watch as an analyst, try and take the ball out of the equation this time. So you're going to start off by just watching the patterns. So you'll be able to actually work out without focusing on the ball which team is in possession of the ball and which team is not, which team is dominant in certain areas and which is not. And it does take a little bit of practice at first, not to just revert back. So my first tip for doing this would be to change the coverage that you're watching. Certain TV coverage stations will have a different angle that might be a little bit closer to the field. The best way to watch soccer is to go see it live, because then you can pick your own. You are your own camera angle. You can follow any particular player that you wanted. But whilst that's not happening, we need to maybe find a camera angle that's a bit further back. Different stadiums also have different camera setups, which might mean they're further away from the field, which you can see a little bit more. So as we touched on there, try and watch the game as if there is no ball there, watching the patterns of play, and just trying to watch the game objectively. You can begin to understand how a team is exerting the pressure and how a team is counteracting that, and anything they can do there. So it is a really, really interesting way to watch the game, because you can also see how particular overlaps would occur, and passing it long to drop it short to play the ball through. You can kind of see how you could manipulate the play, and also identify certain areas where there is a weakness. And also, touching on that point, you could an interesting one to try for your players as well, because it's not just for us coaches to stay sharp, it's also for players to understand and to keep their love for the game. It might be that they can kick the ball around the backyard, the back garden a little bit, but try and stimulate them by sitting them down with a game. And an interesting one that you can do is maybe like a 5-minute player cam on a particular player. So, for example, if you were to take the centre forward, the striker in a situation, and try and focus all your attention on them. Now, don't get me wrong, I appreciate we're talking ideally here. They're not going to be on the screen for the whole of those 5 minutes. So try to watch them as much as the screen allows you to. And look at the movement. The striker, what do they do when the ball isn't near them? Okay, so you've got your striker. You might see the kind of concertina effect of the striker. So they're trying to make the field a little bit bigger in certain situations. So when the ball is back with the defensive players, you'll find that the striker will move further up the field, away from the ball, if you like. Okay, so the striker moves away. You got the concertina goes out. As the play starts to move towards the other end of the field, you'll notice the striker come in a little bit more, move towards where the player is to try and get involved. You also need to pay attention to particular movements. So a striker can look very, very disinterested for quite long periods of the game, and suddenly they can switch to life, and they've lost their marker and they're through on goal. And the best players do that week in, week out without anyone be able to read their movements. So what can you pick up as a coach to then instill in your players? But also, if you've got young ones who can watch the game with you, what can they learn from those particular actions, and can they replicate that in their games? Same with the midfielders, same with the defenders. What are they doing to organise? What are they doing to create space? And what are they doing to move off the ball to influence the play? If you watch games back, sometimes after a goal has been scored, you can see the movement of a particular player that, in fact, while we've got the tactical board nearby, we might just take.
Now, Coach Mark, would you recommend where's the best place to find these games? I mean, are you talking like YouTube TV or?
Yeah, I mean, you can get. So, for example, I'm going off Manchester City here, but they always put the game highlights up on the website for the past weeks. It would be the same for most. If you're in the UK and you've got access to Match of the Day, the reruns of Match of the Day, they show like that's like our highlight show Saturday evenings, whereby you can just watch the games. And it's kind of like a shortened, maybe 10, 15-minute shortened game, which is kind of key moments and highlights. So Match of the Day is well worth a watch. Obviously, each particular team's website will have extended highlights of certain games. The NBC, ESPN will be showing reruns of games while there's no televised sports. So depending on your region, and if you've got access to the sports channels there would be a good place to start. But if you are on the internet, YouTube, absolutely fantastic. Any of the websites for the particular teams, etc., would be my go-to for those sort of things.
Great. I'll give some shout outs. We got Coach Darren on. How you doing? Hi, Coach Darren. We got Coach Steve. Coach Alex is on. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your thumbs up, your hearts, your shares, doing a watch party of the video. We appreciate that as well. If you can, like it, comment, let us know your questions. We appreciate as much interaction as possible so we can help as much as possible as well. So we appreciate you being on here live.
Yep. So apologies, Eric. I'll be right with you. I'm just setting something up here so that we can have a little. Yeah. Okay. So what I was It's getting kind of crowded in here. I'm just going to shift myself over a little bit. Let's get the screen in. Okay, so what I was meaning there by when you can watch a goal back and you can see movement off of movement, how is this? Can you see the screen okay like that? Or
Yep.
Is that good?
Yeah, I made you the full screen there.
Yeah, great. Okay, so we've got the two red players here is the 2 and 4 in this example, just for argument's sake, and we've got the opposition number 2 out wide here. What you'll see sometimes when you watch a goal back, it's interesting to not just focus entirely on what happens with the ball. So ultimately, the ball is going to get passed into the box, and the ball is going to go into the net. We know this already, but could you potentially watch what happens with the other players? Okay, how did we arrive at this particular position? So you might see a movement where the number 10. Oh, sorry, I've got this the wrong way around. There we go. Okay, this is right. So the two blue players are in the right sort of defensive position right here. Red team are in possession. How are we going to get the ball into the right sort of areas? So what could potentially happen here, and again, it's movement off movement. We've talked about that previously. So you might find that the number 2 makes a run into the space down here, which is going to draw that defending player over with them, and that's actually going to open up this big pocket of space in the middle of the area. Okay, so if we're alert to the movement, number 4 is getting a run on this defender here, moving into the space, so that when the ball is passed in and it does eventually get scored, that's the part that we pay attention to. There is that final movement, but what we didn't see and what we don't always give credit for is the off the ball runs. So that number 2 opening that space. When you watch a goal back, sometimes it's interesting just to watch what happened as a result of that. How did we arrive at that final situation? So you could watch a goal 5 times over and notice different things about what went on in there. So that would be my advice: is just to move that out of the way. Is to watch the goal back, watch the goal, of course, but then also importantly, what happened. How did we arrive at that destination? And also, the last point I'll make on watching the game is look for traps as well. And what I mean by that is, let's take for example the front 3 players. Okay, in fact, we'll set it up again, Eric. If we got
yeah,
can you give me 10 seconds to do so? I'll just shift some things around here. We've got 3 players and 3 defenders. So we'll go 4 defenders actually, just to make it just right. So I have to scoot back over again. I need a bigger room, I think. Is that good?
I'll give a quick shout out. We got the tactical boards from NLT Tactical Board. You can see the one we're using here. So we created a partnership with them, and we'll give you a heads up. But that's what we're using at the moment, NLT Tactical Board. It's been, you might have seen it around a little bit here and there, but it's fairly new coaching resource created by NLT Tactical Board, and they were nice enough to put our logo up on there and ship us out one each that we can try it out.
Yep.
Big shout out to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, this thing's great actually. We'll get into more of that, but yeah, just for example on the traps that we can set. So if we take this for example, can you see me okay, Eric? Is that looking
yes
good? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Yeah, so we take for example the split centre backs here. What you might often see when a ball is played out from the goalkeeper is the ball goes out to one of the split defenders here, the 10 and the 3 for this example, and they'll pass a ball out to the fullback here. Now, I'd say maybe 8 times out of 10, because currently red team have got all. I appreciate it looks a little chaotic over here. You just have to use our imagination that we're all in some sort of formation here. We're just focusing on the front 3 against the back 4 at this point. Okay, so now because they've got all 11 people behind the ball, maybe 8 times out of 10, you might see this ball come back in field, because we don't just want to gift possession to the opposition by playing it. It might be that we could have had a ball down the line, but they're under some pretty intense pressure here. So out of options, we don't just want to hold on to the ball and invite the pressure. So sometimes you see this ball go back in field, and that ball back in field there statistically is a high percentage, high percentage of a goal scoring opportunity for the other team, because it's a known, that there was no ball on. So that point there, that is the trigger for these players to move in, try and win the ball back, crowd them out, and ultimately what you might see then is that ball goes back to the keeper and gets played long. Okay, and that is the sacrifice of possession in quite a lot of cases. Or it might be that we try the ball out wide this side, and again we drop back into those positions, rinse, repeat. So ball comes out to the fullback, no pass available, comes back inside, pressing trap again. And if we can win the ball high up the field here, we're in a situation where we've got potentially a numerical advantage, because in that transition period, we've got the gaps between these fullbacks here. We're not set up as a good defensive unit. We've won the ball high up the field. So in a couple seconds, we could have a shot on goal. So that would be things to look out for as well when goals were conceded, or if maybe you don't even have to get that in depth. You could just say, for example, shots taken, how did they come about, what were the movements. So again, I'm not trying to sort of teach us anything over the top here. It's just trying to watch soccer in a different way, through a different set of eyes for just a second. So a couple of tips to do so, and how can you then apply that to your own coaching methods? How can you take that forward and replicate that for your youth players, and how does that tie in with what you're trying to teach them?
Hey, Coach Mark, would you recommend that the coach, after he finds maybe a one that he wants his team to focus on, should he send the link to them with a little instruction to watch and learn, and then eventually they'll kind of, maybe they can do a training on it themselves with their team?
For sure, yeah. I mean, I think it's great to give these kind of real world examples, because it's great us coaches explaining something to a player, but if they see their heroes or someone that they look up to doing it in a real life situation, that's great. But sometimes I think it is a little bit about, for example, I remember watching Michael Owen. He's since retired now, but when he burst onto the scene as an 18-year-old for England, he was he was incredible, and to watch him do it was great as a youngster. But then to learn years later, and it wasn't the things that were highlighted to me as a player at the time. Only years later, watching it again and seeing these examples of how he used his body, would be something that I admired, but I wasn't watching it with the pair of eyes that I would be watching the game now, because I was young. I was just watching the ball go into the goal, and that was all I was interested in. So sending round clips of players who, they just get they just get a run on the defender, and instead of just running side by side with the defender, who can ultimately maybe run, there are exceptional circumstances, but a player without a ball can typically run faster than a player with a ball. So how does the player with a ball use their body to get in front of it? It might, in front of that last defender, it might be that they're cutting across the path just to slow them down. There's a couple of reasons that we might do that. One, to draw a foul potentially, but secondly, just to slow them down, make them go round us and make them start again. So using your body as an aid is something that can be highlighted to your players, again, just from that in-game situation that that you could pick out the highlight of and send on. I think that's a great idea, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Now, another thing, coaches, that I've been sharing, you might have seen, since a lot of your players at home, you're not able to get out on the field, obviously, during these crazy times that we're in at this exact moment. We're trapped inside a bit. So I've been sharing some specific skill training videos that your players can do at home A lot of it has to do with juggling, ball touches, control that they can do in their basement, in their bedroom if they clear it out a little bit. It doesn't take much space. So these are good to pass along to your players as well, so they can get some touches, some ball skills, and keep a lookout for more coming from Coach Mark and myself, sharing to all of our Coaches Training Room platforms, especially here on the Facebook. This is one of our main places that we share a majority of our content. So if you're connected here, you're going to get most everything that we share out. And then there's Twitter, Instagram as well. But so make sure you're connected with us, and we're going to pass along these resources that you can then pass along to your players so they can work at home during this time and build their skills as well. Make sure they're not just sitting on the couch, and make sure they're moving, they're active, and they're keeping in shape and getting their touches in each and every day. And so pass along those resources and keep them going. So keep a lookout for those, as we're going to be sharing more and more resources for you to pass along to your players. And then also, in addition to that, sessions for you as coaches, so you can prepare for when we do get through this and we're back on the field, that you're ready to go, and you know exactly what you're going to focus on.
Yeah, I think we're obviously, the direction that we've been taking in naturally now is that we're going to have to start treating soccer like it's preseason again. You know, making sure that we're getting the, making sure that we're moving, making sure that we're touching the soccer ball as much as we possibly can. But it is going to be individual work, and you know, we'll look to provide as many resources as we possibly can for that. Maybe some preseason specific things as well, Eric. We can discuss that and hopefully get something out to you guys as soon as possible, because it's, you know, it is important that we just keep going, keep fresh, keep relevant with everything that we're doing, and we'll obviously we'll be hopefully back on the soccer field in no time.
Yes, we look forward to everybody, all the coaches, getting out on the field as soon as possible. As soon as we get through this, we'll be back out. And also, coaches that are watching here, a lot of you are coaches, obviously. We are during this time, you can learn, like I said, prepare, get prepped, and get educated, build your coaching education. And one of the resources that we have right now that's been very, very popular from us, Coaches Training Room, is our Soccer Coaches University 14-day trial we have going on, which you can go in, check it out. Every month there's new sessions, new educational training videos where Coach Mark walks exactly through full session plans on exactly how to set it up, run through it, the coaching points, the progressions. It's very, very good. So you can get your session plans all set, ready to go for when we're back out on the field. So I'd highly recommend checking out Soccer Coaches University. I'm going to go ahead and just put this link here below so you can grab your 14-day free trial. If you love it and want to keep it, there's nothing you need to do. Just it's just $29 per month, and you get access. One of the biggest benefits of it too is you get access directly to us via WhatsApp, through email, through Skype, and you can directly communicate any questions that you have. So I'm going to go ahead and pin that in the comments there. And then you also get recorded webinar videos. Recordings from our live trainings are in there, and you get your own username, password. It's accessible on any device connected to the internet. So it's very, very accessible, and something you can do now and get prepped, like I said, and learn ahead of time, dig in there and poke around, because there's a lot of information. There's a lot of downloadable PDFs. There's full session plans. Like I said, they're all downloadable with addition to video walkthroughs, so you can see exactly how these sessions are run. So even on the live, sometimes we do a little preview of that where Coach Mark runs through a session plan. So you getting a little preview of what Soccer Coaches University is about. So check out the free trial. It's coachestrainingroom.com/SCU29. While you're home, you can continue your coaching education online whenever you want. and it's a free 14-day trial. If you don't like it, just let us know through email. If it doesn't fit, your coaching style or not what you thought, then just let us know. It's as easy as that. So, and we'll cancel, no questions asked. And again, that link is coachestrainingroom.com/SCU29. All right. And I hope all of you are being safe, doing your 6-foot distance, and being smart about the situation that we're in, because it's going to help everyone as a whole in the world, because this is becoming a real big deal. So yeah, appreciate you coming on live. I know there's a lot going on, so we really, really appreciate you. We're glad you joined us. We're glad you're soaking up the resources. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. In addition to us being live here, these will be recorded, so you can still ask questions and we'll go back to them and answer those as well. Coach Mark, do you have anything else for us today, or we're pretty much ready to wrap it up here today?
Yeah, that's pretty much a wrap from me. So yeah, watch as much soccer as you can. Get through our resources section. There's tons of free stuff in there. Just stay relevant, stay up to date, print off what you can. Read some books. If anyone needs any book recommendations, I'm reading a ton of coaches, autobiographies at the moment, tactical insights, etc. So if anyone wants any suggestions on those, feel free. Equally, if you've got any suggestions for us, let us know. Share them with the community if you've got any good recommendations for a book. There's obviously our Soccer Coaches University book and the U12 guide, which we think are fantastic resources as well. If you've already got your copy, just make sure you got your nose in the book. And yeah, watch as much soccer as you can, take as much resources as you can. And as Eric said, everyone stay safe. And what I might actually do, Eric, I don't know how many copyright laws this will break, but I'm going to try and get a clip of clip of a game situation that we can maybe just share on the Facebook page, so I can give a practical example of what I was talking about there with the tactical board.
Sounds great.
Yeah, maybe just a couple of annotations on there, just so we can see, just give you some things to look for, and we can go from there.
Excellent. All right, coaches. We'll see you next week, Monday. If not before then, we'll let you know if we're going to do another one before Monday, but definitely Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much for joining us. Be safe, and we look forward to talking to you again soon. Watch some soccer, continue your coaching education, and pass along some of the resources that we're providing for specific player skills to your players so they can work on them at home. All right. Take care, coaches. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.